Imagine someone pops up and say, "Hey Ivan, here's 500 rand for yourself to go invest." Now Ivan, tell me, how are you going to invest that 500 rand? That's today's episode, guys. I'll be giving practical steps and breakdown on how I can invest 500 rand for myself every single month in the GSE. I'll be doing this by sharing which broker to use, why am I picking that broker, which ETF I'm going to buy, why am I buying those ETF, which shares I am going to buy, and why am I buying those shares, as well as how much will I allocate to those specific ETF as well as those specific shares. I'll be giving reasons for everything, practical steps on how I'm doing it, in order to ensure we can all jump into this journey of investing. And what's better way to do so through making a practical example. So guys, that is the episode for today. Without wasting any time, let's jump into it. Welcome to the Student Investor Podcast with Ivan Sambo, the podcast that focuses on starting a conversation about money, investing, growing your career, and being a young person in South Africa. Our goal is to simplify the conversation so that we can all learn and grow as young people in South Africa. Hello, future millionaires and billionaires. Welcome to the episode of the Student Investor Podcast. So today's episode is simple. I have 500 rand and I have to invest it for myself. How do I do it? That's the whole episode of today, guys. So let's set the scene for today's episode. 500 rand on my hands and I have to invest it strictly in the GSE. What's the first step do I take? I always believe that before you invest your money, before you pick which shares you want or which ETF you want, the first thing you need to do, the first thing you need to get right is your broker. But remember, your broker is your middleman between the GSE and yourself. So the fees you pay to your broker will determine the value you get from your investment. At the same time, your broker must be able to be a platform or a company that's able to simplify everything for yourself. So for me, the first broker that I will pick in terms of who I invested 500 rand with is going to be an app which is called Easy Equity. I will download that app to use it as my broker to invest in the GSE. The reason is because number one, it's the most simplest investment app that's available in South Africa that allows you to invest in the GSE specifically. Secondly, it has the lowest fees. I think it's like 0.25%, so it's reasonable for me to go there. So I already done the first step. I got my broker right. I downloaded the Easy Equity app and now I have it. I registered it. So now it's time to invest. So which shares do I buy first inside the Easy Equity app? The first shares I will buy for 100 rand will be the Centrix Top 40 ETF. The reason I am buying this ETF as my first buy in the GSE is because I have 500 rand per month, and with 500 rand per month I cannot be able to get all the shares I want. So it's very reasonable for me to buy a basket that has all the top 40 biggest companies in the GSE, knowing that I'm already diversified in the GSE and I have a bit of everything. Guys, remember, an ETF, which stands for Exchange Traded Fund, is a basket of different asset classes under one, or a basket of different companies grouped together. So the top 40 ETF is the first buy I will do because I'm diversifying my investment. I know I'll have companies like number one, Anglo American, Naspers, First Rand, MTN, Standard Bank, British American Tobacco, Impala Platinum, and Capitec. I have them all in one go by just buying this ETF. And remember, this ETF as well pays good dividends. It pays, I think, is 3.79% dividends yield. So I know, number one, I'm getting good dividends. Number two, I have all the biggest companies in the JSE and I have them with just 100 rand. I'm left with 400 rand. With the 400 rand left, I take another 100 rand and I go straight to the JSE again and I buy the Centric Risi 10 ETF. Basically, this is an ETF of the biggest natural resources companies in South Africa. Companies like Impala Platinum, Sasol, Goldfield, Sibanye Stillwater, Anglo Gold, Anglo American Platinum Limited, Northern Platinum. They are all grouped there together. All the biggest mining companies are under this ETF called the Centric Risi 10 ETF. I buy that one for 100 rand as well. And this one ETF as well pays out good dividends with a dividends yield of 5.29%. So I am covered in the JSE by having the biggest the top 40 biggest companies, and I also diversify myself by going to the mining space, getting the top 10 biggest mining companies in that field. So I am diversified. I am 100% secured in terms of my investment allocation. So now I'm left with 300 rand, and the first 200 rand I spent it heavily investing in the JSE, in local companies that operate mostly here in South Africa, in order to ensure that I have diversified my portfolio and I have spread my risk around. I will take the other 100 rand from the 300 rand I'm left with and invest it into an ETF that is in international shares. And this ETF I'll invest into is the Standard & Poor 500 feeder ETF by Centrix. This ETF inside it include companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, Tesla, Johnson & Johnson, and others. This ETF is 100% international, meaning not only am I now investing in South Africa through the JSE, but I'm investing international through the JSE as well by getting the Standard & Poor ETF, which is the biggest 500 companies in the world. So I'm diversifying my portfolio. I have spread my wings using ETF. Remember guys, also when you're investing using ETF, always do your research by ensuring that you get the minimum disclosure document, or aka fund fact sheet of that ETF, and you can get it by just googling the name of that ETF. For example, Standard & Poor 500 Centric ETF minimum disclosure document, and that document guys will tell you everything you need to know about your ETF you're investing into. So now I am left with 200 rand to invest, and with that 200 rand, I want to divide into two and invest into individual companies in the JSE. And the first individual company I will buy is going to be a company that's still starting up in the JSE, still about to grow, not a big company. I'll be investing to this company for capital gain for the future because it's innovative. Because remember, I'm still young, right? I have 500 rand to invest. I already covered my basics. I already diversified my portfolio. So I will dive deep head first and invest 100 rand into the People Group in the JSE. We know the People Group owns companies like Easy Equity, the brokerage platform which we're using to buy shares actually, as well as they own I think it's called GT 24/7, and also under Easy Equity, People Group owns Easy Property, Easy Crypto, Rise, as well as other companies which are under the Easy Equity Group as well. So I'll buy this company in the JSE for 100 rand because number one, I believe it's one of the innovative companies that exist in the JSE that is available for us to buy into. And second, as much as not having a good year this year 2023, as well didn't have a good year last year in 2022, I do believe in the long run this company will perform better. It will increase its number of clients it has under Easy Equity, and And also I'm seeing Easy Property going to be a player as well in the market space in terms of allowing people to invest into property. And Easy Equity has been rumored to even be looking into expanding into Asia, North Europe, as well into Africa. And it has been confirmed that they're in the process of looking into entering Kenya as well. So I want to have a piece of Easy Equity as well. So I will put 100 Rand to invest into Easy Equity as a capital gain investment in my 500 Rand of in that 500 Rand. I will take 100 Rand and put it there on the people group in the GSE. The last 100 Rand I have, I'll put it into a company called Renergy in the GSE. Remember, for the same reason I'm investing into the Purple Group, it's the same reason I'm investing into Renergy. I am looking into investing to small companies in the GSE that have potential of growing big in the future. This helium mining company located in the Free State is a good investment for myself in terms of putting 100 Rand there, because I'm looking at why would they exist a helium mining company in the GSE. Where is the need for helium? Europe needs helium, America needs helium, also South Africa needs it as well for a lot of things. Even rockets who are launched to space need helium to be launched into space, and currently the supply of helium is going smaller and smaller globally in Europe and America. And South Africa, as having this company called Renergy, can be a big player in the helium space. And I love the fact that this company, in terms of their operation, they are mixing up helium mining with new technology. Not just new technology in mining the helium itself, but new technology in terms of how transportation works, as well as how the use of helium can be used in South Africa. They're even doing tests on having trucks just driving with pure helium, or even cars themselves being able to just drive with helium only. This is a good company for myself to invest into, so I can put another 100 Rand into this company. So now I already spent my whole 500 Rand of investment. I hope you noticed something with my pattern of investing with this 500 Rand. Number one, what did I do? I wanted to have a secure investment in the GSE, so I took the 40 biggest companies and invested into them by using the Centric Top 40 ETF, basically buying a basket of all those top 40 ETF. The second thing, I wanted to be in the mining space of South Africa, because mining dominates the South African economy. Let's not lie to ourselves, mining is dominating. So what did I do? I bought an ETF, a basket of the top 10 biggest mining companies in South Africa. I bought that ETF for 100 Rand as well. And what's the third step I did is to go international. By doing what? By inside the Easy Equity app, buying shares of the Centric S&P 500, meaning the S&P biggest 500 companies, all of them in one, getting Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, as well as Tesla there. And the other thing I did, the last thing I did, is to invest in innovative small companies in the GSE. I got myself People Group and I got myself Renergy, meaning I am diversified. I'm taking high risk with these two companies, but I'm protected with the ETFs I have, as well as I'm protected international and domestic. And that's how I would invest 500 Rand for myself as a beginner investor. Yes, as time goes along, yes, my money will increase and I'll start investing more money and buying more ETFs and more companies in the GSE. But if you give it me 500 Rand right now and say start your investment journey, this is how I would start it. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed my podcast. I hope you enjoyed how I would invest 500 Rand for myself. Let me know what you think about the episode as well, guys. Please do ensure that you keep on sharing this podcast with your friends, with your family, with everyone, and let's continue being the best investment and business podcast in South Africa. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Hope you have an amazing week. I hope the conversation was inspiring and will lead you to take action As always, I love hearing your thoughts. So, what was your takeaway point from the conversation? Let me know on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. I am Ivan Sambo in all those platforms. Tag me, follow me there, and let's continue the conversation. As always, I am Ivan Sambo, your student investor, and thank you so much for listening.